All right, all right. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Seat Automotive Podcast. It's your buddy CJ here, and we're talking about all things automotive industry, car scene. And this is a very special 2023 year-end episode. And we're also going to look forward to 2024 with some predictions, talking about what we think is to come. And I'm joined today by a very special guest and a dear friend, Prep from Street Cars101 Magazine. Are you kidding me? Welcome, Prep.
Hey. Thank you for having me on the show, man. It's beautiful to see what you're doing. I hope you and the family getting ready for Christmas, man, and that you have a great Christmas.
Well, thank you so much for that, Prep. You know, we are getting ready, but my number one prediction is that tonight I'm getting coal in my stocking because I've been bad, But listen, let's get into this. And if you don't know Prep, you need to get to know Prep. Street Cars101 Magazine. He's all over the automotive scene nationally. The man was at SEMA 2 years in a row, killing it. And we're going to put him on the hot seat for that a little bit later. But first things first, Randall, let's get into this. 2023, and gosh, it was just a whirlwind year.
Yes, it was.
When Prep thinks about 2023, what was the highlight for you? What are some highlights? When you think about car scene, automotive industry in 2023, how do we summarize that, Prep? Go ahead.
I think this was the year that the turbochargers really made an impact over superchargers. Well, I'll say it this way. I went to a lot of races this year, and a lot of the races, it was mostly turbo cars running huge turbos. And it was like, I didn't really see too many superchargers. BMW, maybe BMW has had an era like this where they have a lot of power in their cars. But for some reason, I was looking at a lot of BMWs this year setting records in quarter mile, eighth mile, and 60-foot rolls, and et cetera. And then the other thing that I'd say was big this year was it was a lot of car events, man. It was a lot. Like it was like maybe 20 to 30 car events stacked on top of each other. But yeah, the BMW really made an impact this year. Even though people don't like the grill, you know, to me, if the car is a certain color, it looks good, like white or something like that. Black, it's growing on me, I guess. But these cars was putting down some massive power with maybe a tune and a couple of aftermarket parts, not really that much work done to them. But man, they was epic this year, at least for me. I mean, I'm not really a big fan of BMW, but it's just left and right. I kept seeing them.
Well, it's interesting that you say that. And, you know, that grill has been polarizing. I like it because it's disruptive. I've heard the jokes about, you know, it looks like a beaver with the teeth. But I also like it because it's Oh, God. No, listen, man. I also like it because it's distinctive. Like when you see that car coming down the road with that new grill, no mistake, you know what it is.
Yeah, I think the only thing with the grill, I think people didn't want to really change from it because when you think about it, it's not really that bad. It's not bad at all. It's just different. You know, it's a facelift. So I love it, man. I love the new design and the curves that the BMW has had lately. I don't know. I look at it a lot differently this year than what I've looked at in previous years.
And listen, they're so iconic, and there's a reason they're so desirable. The styling, you know, certainly a big part of it. The colors, the interiors on the new M3s and M4, they went next level, and I think they got it right. I mean, looking like a fighter jet cockpit, depending on the trim, you know.
So now I got a question for you. So with the, I guess, three brands, I'm gonna add a fourth one in. I'm not sure if people classify it. BMW, Mercedes, Lexus, and Porsche. Who would you pick?
Well, for me, my initial reaction is Porsche, and they're all great. Lexus, I see as, you know, luxury Japanese brand, but as an enthusiast who wants something a bit hot, I know they got, you know, the LFA and what's that other thing called? I call it the Lexus Corvette, their sports car coupe.
That lets you know how I feel about Lexus. I don't even know half their cars. Mine is the.
Well, see, that's the thing. it's not a brand I feel passionate about. Their cars are pretty, they're beautiful, but just not for me. So out of that list you gave me, honestly, I've never owned a BMW. I got to get that done one of these days, but I would lean towards Porsche all day. Now, if you need to cart around kids and groceries and lumber, the Porsche is not the right call, the 911. But anyway,
Right.
What about you?
I used to say Porsche all the time. My dad was big on Porsche. My uncle had one. I'm actually leaning towards the BMW, man. It's the amount of power you can get out of it for just the tune is ridiculous, man. It's like it can be a dominant machine on the track. And if you need to get A to B, man, it's just a beautiful, comfortable ride. Like, I can't believe I'm actually saying this. I would actually pick the BMW over Mercedes.
I can see Prep. And by the way, all day long, Mercedes in terms of luxury, like I will own an S-Class at some point. I've had a few Mercedes. You know, we're talking about like a Learjet. They're just they do everything right from a luxury standpoint. Black Mercedes, nobody does black paint like Mercedes. But if I was going performance sedan, coupe, I have to own an M3 or an M4 one of these days. And I want it. I know the one I want, but let's save that for another episode, Randall, because I want to ask you something.
Okay.
SEMA 2023. SEMA, and for those that don't know, I want you to tell them what SEMA is. And I also want you, for those of us who couldn't make it, myself included, I was thinking about it, but I didn't. Randall, what is SEMA? Was it a highlight, and what do you need to know about it? Go ahead.
All right. So with Street Cars 101 Magazine, I usually make the magazine as a way of saying, if you was to come to SEMA, this is what it is. SEMA, take every major car event that you ever been to in 1 year and pack it into one area. It's like, I look at SEMA like a big, not even a playground, but like a big carnival fair that comes to town once a year. And it's got everything. They got roller coasters. They got everything. Like, they pack Carowinds and everything in it. SEMA is huge. Like, one building could be 2 car shows that me and you go to. And it's not just cars. It's all of the brands. Like, this year there was like 120 companies that done suspension. And I didn't even know that 50 of these companies even existed, but they was there. And it's like so much going on, man. It's like, oh my God, it's freaking awesome. Everybody that I took this year, I warned them. I said, hey, you need to get you some good walking shoes and everything and be prepared. They didn't listen to me. They had to go buy new shoes within a day. You know, there's many YouTube celebrities. There's many celebrities in the automotive industry. They have tracks going on outside. They have drifting. They have where you can ride in the drifting, motorcycles, trucks. They have custom SEMA builds. They have anything that you can think of with car related. Anything on wheels is there. But if I was to say what the highlight of SEMA was, honestly, it just felt like more of a car enthusiast show this year. Last year, it felt more of, we want you to buy EV. And then also it's like, you know, dealing with all the major products and brands and et cetera. It's just this year, it felt more of a car enthusiast. Like, there was just so much that made you, you know, all right, I know how I want to build my vehicle for next year to show off at some shows and stuff like that. But it was beautiful, man. Like, and you see all of the people in this picture, man. That's exactly what it is like everywhere through every building at SEMA. And then you have all the events that are going outside of it. It's crazy.
And we're talking about Las Vegas, and you know, so and this thing is huge out there. And because now I think you got all of our listeners wanting to go, but now I don't want to say the downside, but the one challenge, Prep, and tell our listeners about that. Like, you're part of the media with Street Cars 101 Magazine. The average car guy or car girl off the street can't go, because we got to be in the industry or an OEM. How do you get to go to SEMA?
Well, actually, so if you're just a regular enthusiast and everything, you can actually go on Fridays. The problem is, Friday, you're only going to make it through one building and maybe just a corner of that building. They have rapping contests. They have building engine contests. They have so much going on. It's so much that your mind would, you would try your best to focus on one thing, and it's impossible. It's just impossible to do it. For media, when I show up, pretty much the way it goes. So I'll give you insight of how it is to be media. So they send me emails about everything that's going on, and tell me what breaths and times I need to be at certain places, blah, blah, blah. What's going on here and there, what coverage that they really would like to see get taken, and et cetera. Then you have all of these brands and all of these companies that see who you are. They'll do their research on you, and then they will set up appointments for you to get interviews with them, to come by and look at demonstrations, to get photo shoots, to meet certain people, etc. The thing with me is I get 10 to 15 of them per day. So now my schedule is set up to where I have to hit all of these events or interviews within a certain time. And at SEMA, you have to be at every event 30 minutes early. And the reason why is because what you're seeing on this picture right here, you may not make it through there to get on time, because you may be in the middle of a demonstration and they be like, hey, if you win this, we'll wrap your car for free. You may win a set of tires. You may win a car. And I mean, this is something that they do throughout the entire day. There is millions and millions of dollars at this event. So, yeah.
Got it. And everybody's there. And just, and when I say everybody, all the manufacturers, right? The custom shops, every personality, famous automotive industry folks. I mean, just give us a couple of highlights of who you met out there in 2023.
Anybody that owns a vehicle is damn near there. They're there. This year I got to link up with the owner and president of Jack's Wax. I got to link up with one of Oracle Lighting, Ruck Rack Industries. Them guys are actually from Winston-Salem's. I got to meet up with them. I actually met them earlier this year. I got to actually do behind the scenes filming with Nick Cannon, which I didn't even know was an actual car enthusiast. But that's the thing with SEMA. SEMA will let you see people that you didn't even know was car enthusiasts or actually enthusiasts. Then I got to see Tavares's P1 rebuild. I got to meet Alex from Legit Street Cars, Race Wars, Beefy, Terry from RDM Bills. Oh my God, man, there's so many people. Stone got to actually talk to and interview Mr. Willie T. Ribbs. I networked with his manager a lot, who I actually been knowing for a year and a half. Man, we met this kid, Cam, that is actually about to be racing NASCAR soon. He's like 16. Like, dude, it was just so many people. You can, I mean, hell, dude, freaking Matt Armstrong was standing in front of me, and I didn't even realize he was standing in front of me until I looked at the videos and the pictures that I uploaded. I was like, what the hell? Crazy. He was here the whole time. Like, there's just so many people.
And you've got a whole edition of the magazine dedicated to SEMA, yeah?
Yeah, and it still is not enough. So for that issue, I got all right, so make sure I remember the number. It is 219 pictures in this magazine. Right? Me alone, I took 58 videos and I took 688 photos. Stone took around 500. Yeah, we can't even put it all in there, dude.
You ain't even scratching you're not even scratching the surface. So what you're telling us is that it's basically sensory overload. You're like a kid in a candy store for the whole week.
You're tired. You don't even sleep. You don't sleep because it's like your adrenaline is moving so much you can't sleep, and then you're in Vegas. Like, Vegas is Vegas. Let's just leave it at that.
Let's do a whole nother episode. So I'm going to be with you. Let's talk about 2024 prep, because I'm going to be with you out there in 2024.
Yes.
We got so many big things to come.
Out there with me this year.
I want to put you on the hot seat. What's that?
You should have been out there with me this year.
Business got in the way. I'll leave it at that. I was going to come. The problem is you young boys ain't ready.
I got you. Okay. I'll be honest, I slept good though. I did sleep good a couple of days there.
Good. Well, that's good to hear. Now let's put you on the hot seat, Prep. 2024. Our listeners want to know what's in store, man. What are your predictions? Now we're going to hold you to this. We're going to come back and revisit it. But
Okay.
Prep, you got your finger on the pulse of this industry as much as anybody I know. What are your predictions? Go ahead.
Dealerships they're gonna suffer 2024. Amazon, with now Amazon selling Hyundai cars on their platform, the online buying process is going to take over the actual walking in dealerships. The only time you'll walk in a dealership next year is to actually pick up your car. Or, that's about it. The whole process, I think, is going to take place online. But everybody's going to laugh about this, but I mean this when I say this. eBay Motors is going to make a comeback, especially with selling cars online. They're going to make a comeback. Amazon is going to do good. eBay is going to do better. And then you got Car and Biz. There's a couple other spots like that sell, Bring Your Trailer. A couple of them companies too. They're going to do good, but I think eBay is going to really change the game.
Okay. Now hold on, man. There's a lot to unpack there. There's so much to unpack from what you just said. I want to talk about a couple things. So we got eBay Motors, right? Here's the thing. Let me push back on you on this. I want to get your reaction because eBay was perhaps one of the first back in the day when they went live and you could buy cars online. Then it became eBay Motors and some retail and consumer activity out there. But isn't eBay done? Like, hasn't their time come and gone? That's not my primary go-to. Why are you betting on eBay?
Their time would have actually been gone. Their time would have been over with if Facebook Marketplace wouldn't have became what it is, and if Amazon wouldn't have never made the announcement that they're going to start selling cars online. Because Facebook Marketplace, I sold my Challenger on Facebook Marketplace, and I mean there was a lot of spam and BS on there. It was hard to sell the car, but the car got sold, right? Well, a lot of people now are starting to back away because it's just too cluttered with people really just not having the money to buy anything. With Amazon saying that they're going to take a piece of this, they're going to go after this. eBay is the contender against Amazon. eBay has already been doing this. They know how to do it. The only thing that really set eBay back was the fact that they was dealing with the same issue with Facebook Marketplace. Well, if you turn your TV on, if you're watching certain stuff, and if you look at certain stuff going on in the car scene, you see eBay there. eBay had one of the biggest, expositions at freaking SEMA. And this is the third year straight. They're coming. And I'm telling you, man, Amazon is going to do good, but eBay is going to do better. They already know how to do this. Now, again, you do got Car and Biz and Bring Your Trailer and all of them. You have them, and they have very solid platforms. And, they're going to do great. They always do great. I just feel that eBay is really they got something under their sleeves, man. I think they got something under their sleeves. Okay. They're too quiet.
So a couple thoughts on that. And by the way, for what it's worth, I have seen, and I haven't been following it terribly close, Prep, but for example, Hot Rod Power Tour 2022 and 2023. For those that don't know what that is, we'll have another episode on that. But eBay Motors was the biggest, if not one of the biggest sponsors and advertisers along that entire multi-day event. Something you just said. So let's get this out of the way. Bring a Trailer and some of those others. They're so niche, like vintage cars, collectible cars. Let's put a pin in those. Amazon. When I think about how, listen, doesn't everybody use Amazon? Isn't it wonderful? I could be sitting there in a coffee shop and someone walks by with a jacket or shoes I like, and I can jump on my iPhone and they'll either be delivered that day by the time I get home. I'm exaggerating, or maybe the next day. Like Amazon has done a lot right. Let's not forget where Amazon started. Amazon started selling books, and they figured it out. And they are the elephant in the room. I got to tell you, man, I think what you just said about Amazon and the partnership with Hyundai, which was recently announced, dude, I think that's the game changer.
That is the game changer. But guess who else you got to throw in there too, though? You got to throw in Walmart. You got to throw in Walmart because
are they
Walmart
in the car game yet?
You know, Walmart is actually selling more than Amazon right now.
You talking about across all lines, total revenue? What are you talking about?
Online sales, Amazon is not number one right now. You know, to get the 2-day shipping, you have to join Amazon Prime. Walmart gives you 2-day shipping, 1-day shipping, and you can go pick it up at the store. And if you don't like it, you could take it back to a Walmart store that's usually down the street. Walmart is actually up there, I think, but I think Amazon is going to win with selling cars. But Walmart can sell cars online too. They can sell cars.
All right. Yo, I'm about to get controversial, and I want you to react to this. You ready?
Let's get it.
Amazon. I am a fan. You know, I think it's exciting they're getting into retail cars. They're going to change the business model. Why are they going with Hyundai? Come on. Any brand but Hyundai. I'm sorry, dude. I remember when Hyundais came out. I ain't hating on them, but I'm not loving on them. What do you think?
But see, what you just said says everything. Hyundai can't really sell. So what's the best way to sell? You go to one of the biggest platforms and sell your vehicles. Amazon. It fits so perfect together, like in a marketing sense. Hyundai and Amazon works perfect. The problem is, it's good until you have Toyota, Ford, and all of them want to come on board. Then Hyundai is you're kind of going to go back to the back seat again, you know. But
listen, I like the disruptive element of it. I like with Tesla. Go online. It's 10 o'clock at night. You got your glass of Chardonnay or your beer or whatever. You chilling out. You pull up the laptop or your iPhone. You can configure your Tesla.
Yeah.
Put in your deposit, arrange your financing. You don't have to go walk the dealerships or even browse. Like if you know you want a Tesla, configure it, buy it, roll with it, baby. If Amazon can make it that easy, oh my God, or better. Maybe Amazon will make it better, Prep.
They are going to make it better. And the dealerships really have no choice because I don't even think the dealerships is going to be any factor for next year and so on. With the way the market and everything is going, I'm telling you, man, the brands, the manufacturers are going to go directly to Amazon. All it's going to take is Hyundai to report a positive month in sales. That may mean they just sold 5 cars. If they sell 5 cars in 1 month, every manufacturer is going to skip the dealerships and go directly to Amazon. They're going to be their main source that they're going to go to. And then, of course, eBay is going to create something because, again, eBay has this process already. They have already done this. They've done this 10 years ago, a decade ago. All they got to do is change a couple things. Boom. That's it. Drop a couple commercials. Okay. Amazon is well known, but yeah, eBay is on.
Prep, give us your second prediction. What else for 2024?
You know what? Me and
Cam, EV. Go ahead.
EV actually. I'm glad the way you just said that says everything about EV. EV, that's exactly what EV is going to be. EV was so pumped up, was so hyped this year. I mean, and everything. And I think next year it's going to be like NFTs next year. Like it's going to be a non-factor. That the technology and everything is just not there yet. And I didn't even realize that EVs are expensive as they are. And I'm a guy that was going to buy a Tesla. So, I mean, I haven't given up on it. They have some good leasing programs. But, yeah, I just don't see EV being what they made it out to be this year. So, I think it's actually going to be just kind of swept under the rug until the technology and everything gets better. And mainly when the prices are more affordable. Like, dude, to replace a battery is almost damn near the same price as the car. Like,
Well, wait a minute. Let's unpack a couple things there. Let me ask you a couple questions. And clearly, Tesla is the elephant in the room. Hell, they're the giant in the room.
yeah,
They are
they're the
the
giant.
the primary brand. Let me ask you this. Specifically, do you predict that EV sales will continue? Do you predict that EV demand will continue to kind of plateau or decrease? Do you
It's
think
gonna
sales
plummet.
will continue to go ahead?
It's gonna plummet. It's gonna plummet before.
Plummet.
Yeah, it's gonna plummet. I think with I read a lot with like financial reports and stuff. I day trade a lot. Do you know the
You're a
average?
Renaissance man.
Huh? Yeah, I'm gonna stop that.
You're into everything.
I try to be. You know, you want to be up ahead of certain things. Especially, I want to have a good retirement so I could buy all six of my cars. But anyway, I think the thing with the reason I say EV is going to plummet is because the average American right now doesn't even have a savings account. You know, all of everything is going to kind of catch up around about February, late January, February. And I just feel like if I had the choice, like CJ, and this is the same to you, this is a question I always ask, and somebody asked me this. Would I go with a vehicle that I really don't know anything about, except the maintenance is very expensive? Yeah, I won't have to buy gas no more, but the charger is 30 minutes to an hour. Maybe a rapid charge, I think, can charge it in 10, 15 minutes. Or would I get a combustion engine where if I have anything go wrong on it, I can go to Advanced Auto Parts, AutoZone down the road, fix it if it's a minor issue, pump gas in it, and keep it going. Something that I have known for my entire life. That is what's really going to keep me. Huh?
Hard to argue with that. And, I think a big part of the answer, if you think about this, is just my view to your question, Prep. When I think about the first wave, particularly of Tesla, and when I when I started seeing them, rich guy toy or well-off person who already had probably other cars, who wanted to be cool, wanted something to talk about at the cocktail party or at the country club. Oh yes, I've got an EV. It's the Tesla. It's the new product. Was kind of bougie, and then it became the product for everybody. Elon Musk, I'll be honest, I didn't foresee it going where it has gone so far. And, the Model 3, which is not the rich guy car. And then a Model X and a Model Y, which is two versions of a family vehicle, an SUV. Now a Cybertruck, another Roadster coming out.
The Cybertruck.
I guess my point being, listen.
The
very cool vehicle. Dude, stop it. It's the truck from the future. And I'll say it again. But, listen, the interesting thing and you're a business person, you're an entrepreneur, and you follow the market. Tesla has been real quick to slash prices, Prep, in the past year in order to, pivot against that decrease in demand. Go ahead.
I think it's smart. I think the fact, like, I was looking at that. I was like, wow, he keeps slashing prices. And I was, I'm riding around one day and I just started thinking, I was like, he slashed these prices to really put it against the other automakers that's about to come into their field. Like, Tesla is very, very smart because you have Ford, GM, all of these other manufacturers that was about to they was pretty much saying we're invested in stopping making combustion engines by 2031, blah, blah, blah. First, Elon Musk made it where now his chargers are more universal. So anybody with an EV can charge their vehicles at that, and he's making money off of it. So that's one. But then it's like he kind of hit him with the uppercut and said, I'm going to slash my prices of my vehicles to make it where we're the only ones that's going to sell EVs. And if you want to sell, then you're going to have to slash your prices. And I don't think Ford, GM, or whoever else was anywhere prepared for that. And that's why I think EV is going to plummet. I think that was Tesla. I think that was their secret move in their back pocket that they have been setting this completely up waiting for. And it just took place. But I love Elon for that.
Check this out, Brent. Look at this, cuz it's the house of the future. Look at that.
That's a house?
Look at that. Now, just doesn't that look, Who lives like that? They got the big fancy house. Look at all the stonework, and they got the Kia sitting out front, charging it up.
I don't even know how to. I don't like that, man. It needs to be like a '68 Camaro or something. I need to see a guy working under a hood or something, changing an oil pump or something. I don't like this. This is not good. This is not good.
Well, but
this picture
listen,
disturbs me.
I tend to agree. But look at that though. Is that the household of the future, or is that just limited? And here's my other question for you. This is either the future for everybody, not just California in certain areas, right? And someone who's willing to adopt the new technology that you were just describing. But you talk about sales declining, demand waning off. You also mentioned, you think it's just going to fall off a cliff and plummet. What about the regulation? Because a lot of things can happen, Prep, if the federal government, municipalities, states, global regulators, if they keep mandating this stuff, a lot of things can happen. But you said something very important. We're not ready. The technology's not ready. Go ahead.
I think they understand that we are not ready. And I think that, I don't want to get into politics or anything like that. I would just say, I feel like they realized that they made a mistake. And they realized they made this mistake a couple months ago, but instead of them actually admitting it, they're finding ways to backtrack off of it. Because beforehand, you would like Dodge. A good example is with Dodge. I think it was with the guzzler tax, the guzzler tax, all the money. Yeah, when you really think about it, they're paying this amount of money to have these amount of cars come out. Well, the demand is not switching. So it comes to a point as in, okay, are you willing to spend the money for it or to take whatever consequence that the government can give you, whatever? Or is the government actually going to open their eyes? Because at the end of the day, the government needs the economy to do good. The economy ain't going to do good if people don't want it. That's just what it is. If the demand ain't there, it doesn't matter what they feel is right, what they got to say, whatever consequences they got to throw out there. The demand is not there. People cars now are lasting 20, 30, 40 years. My car right now ain't in the best shape, at least till I get the race car. But guess what? I'm not planning on getting rid of that car. There's millions of people that are saying the same thing. I will sit on my car until you do what I want you to do. And that's what is going to happen. Nobody's about to buy these EVs, man. They're not going to do it.
Fair. All right. So we beat up the EV topic pretty good. And folks, you heard Prep.
But wait.
Prediction. We're going to hold him.
EV. I do like EV. I have nothing against EV. I do like EV. Yep. I have nothing against it. I just don't feel that it's ready yet. And many other people know that it's not ready. And they was trying to force it. It's like, and then plus, I can sit here and say this. I'm mad that they're taking away the VAs. If anything, I'm taking that personal. That's a personal attack to me and like me and a whole bunch of people. So,
Yeah. Oh, I think it's coming back, Prep. I talked about that in another episode. Just wait. We all love part 2 to the story and the comeback story. And I think the V8's coming back. Let me put you back on the hot seat, Prep, because we're going to hold you accountable to these predictions, number one. All right? You laugh now. You watch out later. But
hey, you
in all seriousness,
if I'm right. You owe me a pizza if I'm right. Straight from New York. I like New York pizzas.
Well, I do too. We'll figure that out later. But all right, so give it to us straight. What else you got, man, for 2024? Anything else, Prep?
Well, I know for me, there's going to be a lot of stuff that I'm going to be bringing to the picture that, especially that I want to see with the car scene and everything. But, I honestly believe the car scene, well, I can't really share too much, not yet. There's going to be a lot of changes. My biggest thing with the magazine is I want to give people exposure. I'm not really that big on everything else. I think exposure is the big thing, but now this is kind of off the car topic, but it deals with it. Social media, a lot of people are going to be fighting for attention next year because the algorithms right now is not working in the favors of most people getting the attention that they want. So with the big thing, let's say Instagram is big with car models and cars. I think that market is going to be a little bit different. So with that market being different, I don't think many people is going to be hosting as many events as it was the last previous 2 to 3 years. Like I think it's, this year it was a lot of events on top of each other. Did you realize that?
Listen, are you kidding me? Every weekend, depending on your city, and let's talk about the Carolinas, man. Every weekend, you could do nothing but go to car meets, car shows. Don't these people have anything better to do outside of car meets and car shows? But in all seriousness, I agree with you, man. It's saturated. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's gonna have a decline this year. I wouldn't say a big decline, but a noticeable decline. Just because I think people are kind of tired and still tired from this year. I mean, it was a great year, but I think people are just tired. And then you have so much of the takeovers and people getting their cars repossessed, and there's just a bunch of stuff going on. I think people are actually just going to pick great shows this year to attend, not just any show. I think the last 2-3 years we've been going to any show, and I think that's going to change. Another thing for next year is. Go ahead.
Well, all right. I want to ask you a quick question I want to unpack something that you said there, Prep. You kind of blurred the lines between online clout, Instagram, your likes, your followers, and events. Is it your observation, and maybe this is controversial, who cares? Let's talk about it. Is it your observation, Prep, that some of these people just doing this stuff to develop a following and to get clout? Like, remember, because I remember, go ahead.
It's always been that. I'm going to tell you on something that I tell everybody. Back in college, my marketing teacher, when I was a rapper at the time, a marketing teacher, he told me, he said the biggest, 16 years. But my marketing teacher told me something, and it's funny that it came back. It was said to me from a marketing executive that I was talking to a couple weeks ago. And he was like, the new currency is not money. The new currency is clout. Everything is clout now. If you can provide clout, you can provide a successful business. Well, social media is the way that your clout is shown to get attention. Well, the algorithms don't play in that favor no more, because you can buy views, you can buy followers, but you can't buy engagement. A lot of these events and stuff taking place just to get clout, just to get views, etc. It's not gonna be easy next year, 2024. It's not gonna be easy at all. And I think that's gonna kill off a lot of the events. They're not gonna be exciting. Minus people showing up for cars. I think your uncar enthusiasts, the people that don't really care about cars, they just got a vehicle, they want to show it off, they're not going to come out. They ain't going to have no reason to.
You know what's interesting about that? And again, I'm a lifelong car guy. I didn't grow up looking for clout online. Hell, I didn't grow up when there was an online car scene yet. But I think a lot of guys probably think like me, Prep, in that when I go to an event, if it's known for having more people running around with cameras, like, they're not car people, they're clout chasers trying to do some on Instagram. And I got nothing against the models, but if it's just like, hey, let's get clicks on our images with the cars, we're just not into that. And I'm not criticizing those aspects. And if that's your hobby, God bless you and enjoy it. But as a car guy, I want to look at cars. I want to drink my coffee. I want to talk about cars. Maybe I'll look at a car I'll buy. I don't want to have to come in and out of the event surrounded and blocked by a bunch of cameras with foolishness going on. I'll say it. Foolishness going on. Takeovers, burnouts, donuts. That's not my scene. And I'm not alone in that. Now, again, it's maybe there are those that love it. There's a whole other topic to be discussed on that front. But I think you're right. I think a lot of people, like, I know I'm very selective now. A, about the events I go to. B, about the cats that I want anything to do with.
Mm-hmm.
For all the reasons you mentioned. But anyway, go ahead.
I'm in the same boat, from a business standpoint and then from a personal standpoint. I've now, I was talking to a photographer last night. We was talking about this. It's like, I'm at the point now where I want to show everybody is love that I can, but some of these events that I don't need to be involved in. And there's millions, no, I ain't gonna say millions. There's a lot of people that feel the same way. Like a lot of the events that people went to last year, this year, and the year before, the BS didn't change. If anything, it just became more BS. And now it's just kind of like you're tired, man. I mean, when CJ, I know you go to a lot of events. I get around 27 to 53 events per week. And I usually try to hit about 4 to 5 events. Some of these events was great. Some of them were all right. And then the other ones was just a way just to meet up to do burnouts and stuff. And lucky for me, I left before it got there. Got to that point, I left.
Well, you're smart because you're smart. And to your point, yeah, I mean, I've been going to a lot of events for a lot of years, but I use the word selective. That's a very nice way of saying the thrill is gone with a lot of this. Like, so repetitive, so redundant, the saturation. I, as a hobbyist and enthusiast, I need something different. Just like I'm also not the enthusiast, Randall, and maybe you're the same way. I can't keep the same car for 5, 10, 20 years. Why would I? That's like keeping the same sneakers for 10, 20 years. I need something cool and different. The hobby continues to evolve for me, different rides, different vehicles. Same thing with how I may express or enjoy the hobby. I'm not going to go to the same old events and do the same old thing, especially when there's foolishness. So to me, the hobby's, it's an exciting thing for me. Don't get me wrong. Prep, I'm excited for 2024 because my hobby is now like fourth dimension, has evolved yet again into something different. Working with new people, new types of events, new activities, new opportunities. It's just, but that old model that you say with the foolishness, as I say, and the nonsense, the BS going on at these events, nah, onward and upward.
I think people are now have all decided and said the same thing, man. It's just everybody's now is just like, I know what it's going to be like. I've been to this event for such and such amount of times. I always support it. And it seems like now you just got a lot of people that's big on trophies and shit, man. Oh, excuse my language. Big on trophies and stuff. Right. Like, they don't really enjoy the scene. It does seem like. I don't know, man. This is me speaking for me. I mean, I cover 5 to 6 events a week. And then when you go to SEMA makes you look at every event in a whole different way. Because once you go to SEMA, it can change your entire mindset. You would see what an event's supposed to be like. And then you go out west and go to some of their events, you really see what events supposed to be like. That's why I always said, man, I love your event so much because it's not really the selection of cars, which you do have a great selection of. It's the people that come. It's the vibe. It's a
vibe. Yeah. I always push for that. And we also didn't tolerate the foolishness, did we? When, we'd always have law enforcement presence. And, I got a whole other episode talking about doing the right thing, doing it right. And of course, we all want to have fun. We want to laugh and we want it to be memorable. We got to be safe and sane, man. We got to.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, dude, I've been seeing reports of kids getting killed and stuff with race cars. And it's like, you kind of just get tragic. To a point. You, I don't know, maybe this is a part of me getting older, but it's like, I'm like, dang, I remember I used to have fun in my car, but I didn't have this type of power. You know what? I'm going to be careful. I'm going to watch myself. I'm not going to do this. I don't want to be the burden that took somebody else's family member away or even take myself away or anything like that. It's just not worth it. But 2024 is just going to change a lot. It's going to change a lot of stuff. I can't really.
And you and I are going to stay close on that and continue to watch it. I want to put you back on the hot seat for a minute, Prep. New car that's coming out that you got your eye on. What are you looking at? Something new or a new model or a facelift version of a car? What's something that's coming out that you're excited about?
Lotus. I've been looking at that car for
Mm.
months. I've never been a fan of Lotus, but for some reason that car just grabbed my attention, and then it comes with a manual. Like, it ain't the fastest car. I don't care about that. It's just a fun car. To be honest, this year, I think the last time we talked, I was saying, I want certain cars. Man, I actually been looking at getting a Miata. No, but I want to have fun this year. Like 2024, I want to have fun. I want to enjoy myself.
Oh, yeah.
I get my big dog car. I'm going to get me a daily car, of course, and get me like something to travel, because I'm going to be traveling a lot next year. I'm going to be traveling every other week next year, starting in late January. But I want to get me a fun car, something that I can just take to a track, beat the hell out of it on the track, do whatever, drifting, road coursing, drag racing, everything. Oh, God, there it go. Look at it, man.
Look
That
at
is
that
not a
thing.
beautiful car, man. Look at it.
Listen, it's beautiful. I mean, it just talks to you. You can't, I mean, the thing just drips race car.
Yes. Whoever designed this deserves a raise. Like, they need a raise. That is beautiful, man.
And I think they got the price point right, Prep.
Yes.
And my understanding is, I mean, the order books are full. They've been slow supply chain and other maybe manufacturing challenges. I've heard of a couple getting delivered. They've now got some emissions challenges they're trying to get worked out before they can actually sell them. This is all kind of hearsay, but leave it to Lotus. I mean, it's James Bond's brand, right? The infamous submarine Lotus from years ago. But cool cars, but they're English cars, which means they're gonna have gremlins.
Yeah, I mean, but I take it. I take it all. What was the movie? What the dude do in Gremlin? He had the stick or something. He was beating one of them. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. It'll work. I'll make it work.
And it's going to be available with a manual.
Yes, and dude, it's a visible gearbox. Like, you can see it in the inside while you're changing gears. Like, Oh my God. Like,
and I think
I wouldn't even let anybody know I got this car, dude. Like, I would take it to maybe one or two events. I will put so much mileage on this car on tracking, because I just want to know how it handles on curves and tracking. I would take it to Charlotte Motor Speedway all day.
Well, and that's probably where it really shines. And I think it comes with a couple, three, maybe more different power plant options. I don't know that they're all available yet, but you can get the manual. I think there's an AMG or a Mercedes engine option as well.
Yeah, they have the make sure it's two options. The only thing I don't like about the car is the suspension. If you get the faster version, you can't adjust the suspension. Yeah, it's whatever suspension come with. I don't like that part, but I mean, that car right there. I plan to have when I get that car, I plan to have it 2 or 3 years. Just have some fun with it, then get something.
Well, and here's the thing. For those that are waiting on one of these, to your point, there's plenty of Lotuses from the past 10, 15 years, whether it's an Evora. Let's see, there's the Evora, Amira. I don't claim to be a Lotus expert, so Lotus guys, mention in the comments what options are out there. I guess my point being, if you're in the market for, let's say, used 911, used Aston, maybe a Lotus, there's a lot there in a sweet spot in the market where, it doesn't look like every Boxster or 911, and it's a step up. God knows it's a step up from the Miata. You get a hell of a lot of car. Now, again, practicality, listen, it's probably not the most practical car. If you're a bigger dude, it may not be the right car for you, but depending on what you're into, the new one is beautiful that you and I are looking at here, but there's also a lot of nice used ones out there.
Yeah, now the real good person, there's two people to talk to about Lotuses, and that's Jonathan with Stinger Auto. I didn't even know he created,
I know Jonathan.
Yeah, he created the Lotus Club. I didn't know that. And then you got Corey, who has maybe about 2 or 3 of them, man. He loves these cars.
Right.
I'm gonna talk to both of them about this, because actually Corey knows that I want this car. He knows, but it's one of them.
They're going to be out there. I mean, think about it, dude. When the new Z06 came out, where the price point was, the demand was so high. Hell, when the C8 Stingray came out, the demand was there, the supply was restricted, the price point was off the chain with the markups. Listen, it'll come back around for all the things you said at the top of the episode, Prep. You know, interest rates are still high. You know, some of the slowing demand, the changing model. These will be available. And then again, and then the secondary market, I should say the used market, for some of the previous generations and models of the Lotus, there's a lot out there. But listen, man, I am going to kind of wrap it up here. Prep, thank you for joining. Street Cars 101 Magazine. Where can we find you and how can we find you? Speaking of social media, how can we get in touch with Prep?
Just go to Google, Bing, whatever you use as a search engine, type in www.streetcars101.com. Everything pops up. I make sure to be on my online presence. I'm in the top 10. You will find it. And if you forget their website, just type in Street Cars. I'll pop up.
Now, wait a minute, Prep. We got some old heads out there. They still on AOL. How are they going to find you on AOL?
Hey, well, tell them to message somebody a day. You ever heard of Street Cars 101? Well, I will actually, so I guess I'll go ahead and drop this out the bag. So next year, the magazine will be back in stores. I'm right now trying to work a deal back out with Harris Teeters, but I'm going to make it where I have more Harris Teeters. And hopefully I can get the magazine in to be in there for free. That has always been my goal, is to have the magazine in the stores for free. You know, I want the views. I want the views and exposure. If an enthusiast tells me that's featured in the magazine, hey, man, I got this many people asking me about my car, or I've done my job. Other than that, I don't feel I've done my job. So I'm big on that.
Right. Well, listen, Street Cars 101 Magazine, Prep. Listeners, folks out there, leave your comments for Prep and for me. If you're not aware of Street Cars 101 Magazine, you're missing out. But get on the bandwagon. Check them out online, on all the socials. You're not going to meet a bigger character than Prep, other than me. Now, one of us is really good looking, and one of us is really smart.
Well, see, I lost both of them. That ain't me then. Yeah.
And by the way, it may be the same one, and it's not me. Oh, God, Prep, I love you. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Thanks for being on. It's going to be a big year. Looking forward to it. Everybody, thanks for tuning in to this episode of Hot Seat Automotive Media Podcast. Your buddy CJ signing out with Prep from Street Cars 101 Magazine. Peace.